Hi everybody, old guy here, and the three novels are in this Dover Press edition that I picked up on some of my travels around, and someone in the comments said that they preferred the Dover Press editions, and can't blame them because these are unabridged and really well done. But the three novels are She, King Solomon's Mines, and Alan Quatermain. Now, seriously, are there any other H. Rider Haggard novels? Well, yeah, over 50. But naming one of them besides these three would be an excellent Final Jeopardy question. I'm pretty sure I would lose that. Now, chronologically, King Solomon's Mines predates the other two. She comes next, ending with Alan Quatermain. Now, you'd think Quatermain would come immediately after Mines, since Quatermain is the narrator of both. But I'm guessing Haggard was already working on the other novels before Mines just suddenly took off. Quatermain became such a popular figure that Haggard no doubt felt a boost in sales would result if he named the sequel after the character. Don't know. I'm not a Haggard expert, nor of Victorian book sales. And from these three, I think I've had all the Haggard I need for a lifetime. Not that these aren't good books. They are. Quite the buckling of swash and pip pip cheerio, keep a stiff upper lip, English pluck and fortitude, which is always fun. But apparently Victorian audiences were far more forgiving of plot devices and unbelievable coincidences and deus ex machina than we modern sophisticates. And of racism. Because, hoo boy, are these novels racist. Not in such a blanket manner, but in what feels like an ingrained sense of English superiority. Especially over those with higher melanin levels. Haggard spent quite a lot of time in South Africa and the Transvaal, and his dismissiveness of African servants and bearers has got Rhodesia written all over it. However, he expresses great admiration for the Zulu and Maasai characters in his novels, who are powerful and noble warriors. Yes, there's still a sense of superiority towards these characters, but at least he gives them their due. You know, nothing commands an Englishman's respect more than soundly defeating them in a battle. But even then, they still retain that measure of contempt. I mean, they still call us the colonies. King Solomon's Mines should be better titled King Solomon's Civil War, because the vast majority of the book is taken up with a fight between King Twala of Kukuanaland and the rightful king. Now, it would be a spoiler for me to tell you who the rightful king is, so we'll leave that unspoken should you find yourself on a desert island with just this book to read. Suffice to say that the legendary mines are more of a secondary consideration than the Civil War, which is well described, quite bloody, and rather exciting. Haggard can write battle scenes. The book opens with Quatermain, a more or less retired great white hunter, on a packet boat when he happens to run into Sir Henry Curtis and Captain Good, who just happened to be looking for Sir Henry's brother, lost somewhere in Africa on a quest to find King Solomon's Mines, of which Quatermain just happens to have on his person a hand-drawn map written in blood that shows the way to these very mines. What are the odds? Quatermain says, "Sure, yeah, no problem, I'll help you go find your brother," and really, This is what prompts you to follow a map you've had all this time? Shows you where the most fabulous treasure in the world is located, even though you're broke? There's a lot of stuff like this in the book, and you will find yourself rolling your eyes over the incredible coincidences that happen at the most fortuitous of times. I suppose that's because Haggard intended this as a juvenile novel, and back then, writers wanted to encourage kids, not break their spirits like today's YA does. So keep that in mind, and it'll keep your eye rolling to a minimum. The next novel is She, probably Haggard's best-known one, which I attribute to Ursula Andress. Well, no, it was pretty popular long before the movie, and pretty much single-handedly launched that whole lost world trope. Quatermain is not in this novel, but instead great white Professor Horace Holly, who is charged with the raising of a dying colleague's son and a locked strongbox that is not to be opened until the child, Leo Vinci, reaches 25 years old. Holly is a dedicated and quite loving foster parent, and really the descriptions of his raising of Leo will warm your heart. But then, 25th birthday, open the box and look at this. Ancient clues and a map to a lost African kingdom of fabulous wealth. Sounds a tad familiar. Now, in my edition of this book, there are pages of transcribed Greek and other cuneiform languages. Take a look here. Which must just driven the typesetter bonkers. And actually, it's rather impressive. It's a measure of the education level back then that Haggard thought nothing of including it. Not that I expect Victorian readers to casually toss off Greek and Assyrian like it's Cockney, but there's a better chance they could than we can. I mean, we don't even teach cursive anymore. One thing that got me, all of this writing was supposed to be on a potsherd. That may have been a little bit bigger than just a simple potsherd. So hie they to Africa and adventures galore, with the party suffering ungodly deprivations until they are captured by a lost tribe called the Haggard. Yeah. One of whom, the lovely Eustaine, kisses Leo, which means they're married. As good as any other ceremony, I suppose. The Haggard are not generally nice and decide to eat Mohammed, the captain of the ship, and there's a big fight until Bilal, a high-ranking member of the tribe, shows up just before everyone is in a pot to say the white people are under the protection of Aisha, she who must be obeyed. A title subsequently made hilarious by the Rumpole of the Bailey series. What then ensues is reincarnation and prophecies and eternal flames and magic, and I gotta say, pretty exciting stuff. Allan Quatermain, the third novel, is probably Haggard's response to a lot of public demand, and here we go again. Great white hunter hears about a fabulous lost civilization of white people. What's with all these white people in Central Africa? And heads off with Curtis and Good to see what this is about, and get themselves in the middle of another god-awful civil war. Frankly, I think a lot of bloodshed would have been avoided if the Haggard had ended up eating Quatermain's party. Of course, fortuity raises its lucky head throughout, but by this time, you're ready for it. This book has a great character, the Zulu warrior Slapagos, who is a badass. Overall, these are really good books. Adventure novels that thrill and Errol Flynn their way across Africa. If you find yourself on that desert island and have these, you'll be entertained. Old guy here.